Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to you if this is your first time. For today's project you'll need about half of a 6-foot fence picket, specifically about 25 inches should be enough. And if you already have scraps handy, that works perfect because that's what I'm using for this project. Let's jump right into it. On the table saw, I'm measuring 3 3/4 inches from the blade to the fence, and then I'll make rip cuts. On the miter saw, I started off with making 45-degree miter cuts on both ends of the board. And depending on the length that you want to go with, you will need to find the center of that board, whatever length you have left with, and then just make a miter cut at the middle so you get 2 halves. In my case, the board measures 15 inches on both ends of the miter. So I'm going to mark 7.5 inches from both sides, and then I'll connect those 2 lines, and that's where I'll make the cut at 45 degrees. At this point, I want to quickly remind you that all you need is a little bit of faith and some action. And that's it. I have the 2 halves, and then I have these 2 cutoffs that are also going to be part of the shelf. I'm also going to use these cutoffs that are 3 3/4 inches by 3 inches. They're splitting and they're warped as well, but we'll make it work. Now it's time for some pre-assembly, and I have a couple of issues with the small pieces that I need to solve for. I have to deal with the boards that are splitting and they're warped as well, so it was a little bit challenging, but if you have straight board it should be a quick assembly. And as you would notice, I took a little piece off these triangles on both ends of the triangles to make sure they're flush at the end of the bottom part of the shelf. And as you can probably tell, it's a lot safer to use a hand saw rather than go into the miter saw because those pieces are really small. Now we can do the final assembly. One decorative element or tip I could give is, instead of putting the boards, the shelves in the same orientation, you can do it like this where they're on opposite sides. When I did this, I had them both in the same display, in the same shape. So feel free with on which side you want to place the sides. Either way works just fine. And now to fastening all together, I'm using wood glue and 1 1/4 inch brad nails. Well, you might be wondering that there's no sanding today. Well, these boards were already planed for different projects, but I'll still sand the sharp edges so that they're smooth to the touch. And I just use this keyhole hardware to mount them. I mounted that onto a stud. I just had one screw for each that I drove into the stud, and then I just mounted the shelves onto that. But before I show you that, let's jump on Etsy quickly, and just to give you a quick idea on how this is selling or what people are asking for. And this is at the time of making this video. It starts from $45 on the low end, and then it goes up to $69.50. I don't see any recent reviews for this product, but I know people still like these geometric shapes for home decor, especially when it's made in the rustic finish. So give it a try. You can try see if it sells on Facebook Marketplace before listing it on Etsy. But I hope you're inspired to build one of these for yourself. And if you do, please share that in the comments or share it in the community tab. Another tip from what I noticed on Etsy is that you can play around with the colors. You don't have to make it one solid color. You can mix and match, make it 2-tone or 3-tone since you have 3 pieces that you're working with. Also, feel free to share any other ideas you might have. Thank you. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you will have a tangible experience of God's love today. And as always, take care and God bless you, my friend. I'll see you in the next one.